What's up, YouTube family? And we're back at it with another edition of Round One Sports Talk. Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jemell Charlo just ended their epic, legendary fight in Las Vegas, Nevada. The Lubin decision, all that and more. So, without further ado, let's get right into this episode. So, Saul Canelo Alvarez and Jemell Charlo. What can you say? It was an epic night for boxing. 8 belts were on the line. Unfortunately for the American Jemell Charlo, he soon realized how difficult it is to move up two weight divisions. Coming into the fight, I told my viewers that Jemell Charlo had a lot of obstacles to come over. He was coming over a hand injury where he broke his hand. That alone, I mean, you need your hands for boxing. That's your bread and butter. So he was coming off an injury of a broken hand, which he has not had a fight in between. And coming off an injury of a broken hand, you're not too confident or sure about that hand. You know, you don't want to re-break it, and you don't really know how hard you get hit. So until you get that confident level, and usually in sparring you get it, but you're still not hitting your sparring partners as hard as you're going to hit on fight night. So he had that. Then because of the injury, he's coming off maybe like, I think it's like 18-month layoff, right? On top of a broken hand, 18-month layoff. You were asking him to come up and move up 2 weight division and fight arguably the best fighter at 168 pounds, which is Saul Canelo Alvarez. I told my fight fans that my fear was that I didn't think that Jemell Charlo's body would respond. His twitch muscles, he must have felt like he was in quicksand and that he felt sluggish. And he had spurts and moments inside of the fight, but he could not sustain it. And that was one of the things that I talked about. You know, I said that he was 6 feet tall and that I felt like he would be able to make the weight comfortably. And that he did. But he didn't look like the same Jemell Charlo at 154 that he looked like at 168. And it was just a little bit too much. Saul Canelo Alvarez's management team, they knew this. They knew this coming in. And you see, Saul Canelo Alvarez is going to get credit for this win. And I kept telling my viewers that. And what I mean by that is this. ESPN and Top Rank are going to move this man up the pound for pound list. And I don't know that if they've done it already, but I'm standing on this. I feel like he's going to move up the pound for pound list, and they're going to say he solidifies his spot at the top spot for being the face of boxing. But wait a minute. He didn't fight anybody in his division. If you're the champion in 168 division, shouldn't you be defending your belt against someone in your division? Why didn't he fight one of the top guys, the number 1 guys in his division? Why didn't he fight last night David Benavidez, Demetrius Andre? Why didn't he fight any of the guys in his own division? Instead, he used the fact that it was 8 belts in a smoke screen for that nobody can say, look at me over here. He doesn't want you to pay attention to that. Now, I am not putting down Canelo Alvarez. This is not putting him down. This is being critical to him. Because let me tell you something right now. Why don't we ask, right? Let's just say you were a fighter. And you started your fighting career at 10 years old, your amateur career. You spend 5-6 years as an amateur fighter. And you finally make the decision to turn pro. You come up in the ranks. You win a few fights by knockout. You're starting to get a name for yourself. You start fighting top ranked guys. You finally crack the top 10. You've been boxing for over 3.5 years, 4 years. You finally win the big fight to put you in position to be the number 1 guy to challenge the champion. All that hard work in the gym, year in, year out, blood, sweat, and tears to get yourself in position to fight the champion, and he's fighting a guy 2 weight divisions down. Ask that guy if he was happy if Canelo Alvarez and Jemell Charlo fought last night and not him. Canelo Alvarez hasn't given anyone in that division over 3 years a shot at those titles. Not any of the top number one guys. And then if you're sitting at home saying to yourself, well, he has all 4 belts. He cleaned out the division. It's in some cases, that's not the case. Because let's take a trip down memory lane. How did he get the WBC title? Let's not forget, David Benavidez, once upon a time, was the WBC champion, and he challenged and offered Canelo Alvarez to fight him. Canelo Alvarez said, I don't need your belt. I don't want the WBC title. And he denied the fight. He said, I have other plans. And he said, I'm going this way, right? David Benavidez lost his belt on the scale and for recreational drug use, right? He loses his belt. And guess who steps up and fights for the vacated WBC title? Saul Canelo Alvarez. Wait a minute, didn't you say you didn't want his belt? You don't need that belt? No sooner that he lost his belt on the scales, he comes up and fights for the WBC world title. Look, and he hasn't fought him. Now, where Canelo Alvarez goes from here, now he's acclimated once again to the division. Did they use Jemell Charlo as a tune-up fight to see if he can come in boxing shape form for the 168? And now he's headed in a different trajectory. After the fight, they asked Saul Canelo Alvarez if he would even consider fighting Terrence Crawford. And he shut that shit down. He's trying to tell you, look, did you just see what happened to Jemell Charlo? He couldn't even freaking fight in that ring last night. And that was 2-weight division. You're asking Terrence Crawford to move up 3-weight divisions? That's cap. Listen, that is a fantasy fight. That will not happen. Let that go. Okay? Let that go. Let the world learn from what they saw last night. Because let's all be honest with ourselves. That was not Jemell Charlo. And that was not Jemell Charlo for the multiple reasons and obstacles he had to overcome just to pull this upset off in this fight. It was just too much. And you have to be honest with yourself. That's what I had told you. Saul Canelo Alvarez, I had him picked in this fight. I was rocking with the American, hoping for the underdog story. That's all. But if I was a gambling man, like I told you, there was no way that Saul Canelo Alvarez and his boxing management gave this man this much of an opportunity if they weren't sure in the victory. And I understand anything can happen in a boxing match, but not to this guy like this. Saul he's an intelligent fighter. So with all that being said, there was the undercard fight on the fight last night too as well, where Lubin fought the Mexican fighter last night. And I went back and I closely watched the fight. And on further view, while really watching the fight, on a second opinion, I gotta be honest, that was a robbery. Bro, Lubin did not win that fight at all. There is no way he won that fight. Wow, that mess, I would be tight. And those were the judges that were coming into the Saul Canelo Alvarez fight, with Jemell Charlo. And I was like, whoa, look at how the judging is shaping out. Let's see where this goes, okay? Because Lubin wins this fight, which is a title eliminator, to fight who? Jemell Charlo. Wait a minute, didn't they already fight? Yeah, how did Lubin do in the first fight? I'll tell you how he did. He didn't even make it out the first round. All right, with the performance he put on last night, he was a little bit more patient, a little bit more relaxed, a little bit more with the jab. With the work he put in last night and the shady victory, he might make it out the first round in the second fight. That's all I give him. Because he just put himself in position in a time eliminator on that kind of performance. And I understand if the referee and them call your name, as the victor, you're gonna turn around and say, yeah, I won the fight. Okay, I get it, right? But you got to really go back, because if you watch that fight closely, leading into the 11th round, his corner man, his coach was telling him, you're losing the fight, Lubin. You got to sell out here. I need you to come, later after they're going to ask his coach. His coach is going to say, oh, I was telling him that just to motivate him, but he was winning the fight. His tune is going to change, but, even his coach knew he was losing the fight coming in up into that point. So, look, where we go from here, Devin Haney is scheduled to fight Regis Prograis at 140. That's another case where I feel that if Devin Haney was really confident and sure in his ability, he would vacate those belts so that he can give other fighters opportunities to becoming real world champions. And that would shed a lot of big fights in that division, because you got Shakur Stevenson, Tank Davidson, Ryan Garcia. I don't know where he's fighting. Is he going to stay at 135? Is he going to move up to 140? That hasn't been decided yet. But there's a lot of fighters over there that if he was to relinquish those belts, that would make those fighters that much interesting, because they would be going into the fight as champions. And then we got Tyson Fury and Francis Ngannou. And that's going to be a big fight. I'm going to tune in for that fight as well. For as much as it is a spectacle than a boxing match, you got to admit, Francis Ngannou's a big man. And when you're that big, man, anything can happen, And you just got to catch up to him. In my opinion, Tyson Fury is just a more skilled fighter. He's the champion for a reason, and he should knock out Francis Ngannou. But like all of us, if you like an underdog story, that's why we tuned in last night to support our fighter, Jemell Charlo, and to root for him, to see if, it could possibly happen. And that attracted you to it. But in the back of your mind, you had to be honest with yourself. We were asking too much from the American last night, and this was just not a fair match, if you ask me. And being the fact that he wasn't the twin he was supposed to fight initially, he's the much smaller of the two. His brother was in attendance last night, so wasn't Caleb Plant. I wanted to see if anything popped off on that right there, because they have some unfinished business. I'm pretty sure you guys heard the smack that heard across the world, right? It, sounded like, whap, whap, you know what I mean? So he needs to handle that. I hope he comes back and we see him in the future. So, listen, what do you think about the fight? What did you see in the fight? Like I said, in an era right now where that it's becoming fashionable to have all four belts, I get it. And I get why you could put a fight like this, of this kind of magnitude, for all of us to see. But I also see through the bullshit, right? And what I didn't see last night was Saul Canelo Alvarez fight the top guys in his division. That's what I didn't see. I didn't see David Benavidez in the ring. I didn't see Andre in the ring. Guys that deserve shots. And like I said, you work so hard to get there, and the champion's just fighting all these other guys, but not nobody in our division. That's why we have divisions. We have divisions for a reason. I'm fighting in this division. You should be fighting the guys in your own division. Stop, but that's where we're at. And that's how boxing has evolved. All of a sudden, people want to become, 2-division world champions, 4-belt holders. And I get it, because it's very exciting. But, if the way that Terrence Crawford did it, he vacated the belts at 140, moved up and so forth and so forth, But Saul Canelo Alvarez, he just, for me, now he got this fight out of the way. Let's see what he does now. And this, what he does in his next fight will really tell me who he is right now and where does he see his fight. Is he thinking I'm going to just take easy fights on the tail end of my career? Or is he still thinking, I want to shut up the critics and prove to the world that I am still that guy? Which road is he traveling? And that will be determined in his next outing. And I'll tell you then. We'll speak about it more then. In the future, as of right now, like I said, December 9th, we got Devin Haney, Regis Prograis, we got Tyson Fury, Francis Ngannou, we got Naoya Inoue and Tapales, and we don't have a date. I don't have a date or a venue on that yet, but I think that the fight is going to be made. So we have, more boxing ahead of us. Who is gonna fight Shakur Stevenson for the WBC? And speaking of the WBC, congratulations to Saul Canelo Alvarez for winning another WBC diamond belt. Ironically, the WBC breaks a lot of rules for Saul Canelo Alvarez, right? Which is a Mexican fighter. Who owns the WBC? And where is the main headquarters of the WBC located? Oh, Mexico. Who's the top guy, the CEO, the president? He's a Mexican. Oh, what a coincidence. And all of a sudden they make all these exotic belts for Saul Canelo Alvarez, but no other WBC champion in all of boxing has those unique belts. And it's ironic that the Mexican belt, the WBC, that their sanctioning body's main office is where? In Mexico. Suleiman is what? Mexican. I get it. You know what I mean? So, but they love themselves some Saul Canelo Alvarez. He's a global superstar. And I'm not putting him down or taking anything away from it. He deserves everything he's got. I can't imagine to being a man on his level of success in this sport. I'm not hating on him. He is a Hall of Famer. He is good for the sport. And congratulations, Saul Canelo Alvarez, in your victory. Hats off to you. I wish you best in your career and in the future, and I just hope that you pick someone in your division and you shut up all the doubters, because Saul Canelo Alvarez, you are the face of boxing right now. So as the face of boxing, I feel you have a responsibility to be the best. That's all I'm saying. So tell me what you guys think about this video. Please like, subscribe to the channel, click the bell icons to get all your notifications. Liking the video helps the video grow, and it brings the video out to further platforms and stuff. So please, I appreciate that. Look, I think that boxing right now is going to give us some really big fights. Tank Davis, I would like to see him fight, and who Shakur fights, like I was saying. But the years, we still have a lot of boxing to go. So like always, please like, subscribe to the video, and I'm on to the next one. Peace.